4-year deal, but the Clippers have held him firm to 3 years at a little less than the max. Now, according to Brian Windhorst, there are a number of teams willing to give George the max he desires, including the Warriors, who have been big fish hunting. Now, an additional report indicates that there is a growing feeling that George will opt into his $48.8 million player option and force the Clippers to trade him. Now, this is interesting. Obviously, Paul George is going to be the top free agent at the moment. The Clippers just gave Kawhi a 3-year max deal, so I don't know if they want to pay Paul George more than Kawhi. I don't know if that's an ego thing of who's the leader on this team, if that would kind of adjust the relationship in that sense. But the question is where does Paul George want to play? And is the max contract and the max money the most important thing? Or do you want to try to find a middle ground and go to a place where you think you can win? And is that with Steph Curry and the Warriors? Or is it staying with the Clippers and Kawhi? I mean, if he ended up with the Warriors, there's already questions about what's going to happen with Klay Thompson. He scrubbed his social media of all Warriors photos, tags, anything. And Paul George would fix that problem. He's an elite defender.
So
it's going to be interesting.
My guess is he's trying to get leverage for a max deal. So he went to the Sixers, and the Sixers are like, we're not giving you the max, bro. So now he's off the Sixers. Hey, Golden State will give me the max.
Yeah.
Golden State, I think this will come out that there's pretty much no chance of that. I can't imagine. They'd have to get off Draymond, right? I don't know that getting off Klay and then trading Wiggins and Kuminga, they're going to give that up for Paul George. So I think he's just hunting for a max deal.
It would have to be a player option and a sign and trade. So they're going to have to give.
Yeah, and nobody believes that he would go to Orlando. No. Nobody. He's like an LA guy.
No. Well,
so
that's why.
He's probably going to have to stay with the paperclips on a bit of a hometown discount. And I'm sorry, Paul George, you're only going to have to be able to make $45 million a year, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Listen, he's really good. I thought the Knicks would have made sense. They're now off the table, so enter the Warriors. So my guess is probably no. I think it would be interesting if they could pull that off. But some of these mid-30s NBA guys, I've been workshopping this take. So you look around at these mid-30s guys who are popping around teams, KD, Harden, Paul George, end of the career, and it's
you're trying to get that last big.
They're trying to get that last big payday.
Yeah.
Because they know it's kind of sort of over.
Wouldn't you?
I don't know. I mean,
or do you want to win? Go to a place and take
Alex,
a little less and try to go for the
I don't want to embarrass Paul George, but if you go to Basketball Reference, you could see Paul George has probably made $300 million in his NBA career. And at that point, it's okay, you want another big payday or do you want to win? On some level,
but
in
that's
sports,
the question. That's the ultimate question to every athlete.
Take a little less and play for a title win?
Well, I mean, they think the Clippers thought they had the team together. It hasn't panned out yet, and everyone hasn't been healthy at the same time, and it has not worked.
Why are you
Clippers.
going in Paul George's pockets?
Yeah,
$300 million. Well, half of that goes to taxes, and then agent, and so he's really only made $125 million. Stop. Listen to yourself. $125 million. That's generational wealth for 4 generations in your family.
Again,
maybe more.
What do you want to do? Do you want max deal and just take the money and run? Or do you want to be in a place that you believe can win? Or do you find a place that can kind of be both?
So, obviously, because my men's league is a great correlation, I'll gladly sacrifice playing time and shots so we can win titles. I have no problem with that.
Oh, man, it's been a moment since you got me with your men's league.
Yeah, all right. Alex Curry with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping. Greatness from Kyler Murray. And then didn't he also he had to put the video game thing in his contract
he had
too?
To,
very
homework,
into gaming. And again, as you mentioned, if it's not your guy as a head coach, that's a big factor too. You always want your guy. If you're going to fall on the sword, it's got to be for your guy. We just saw this with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. They're paying him $39 million to play for another team because it's not Sean Payton's guy.
You're asking me to make the meal and win the Super Bowl? Well, I'm not going to let you pick the ingredients. I got to pick it out.
Yeah.
So ultimately, he may come back and say, I need to get my own guy in here. And listen, I don't want to bash Kyler Murray. I know Colin is friendly with him.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen it in the last 2 years from Kyler.
I mean, the hope is exceed everybody's expectations. Stay healthy. Prove everybody wrong. like go into the season with that
Who do
chip
you
on
feel
your
better
shoulder.
about, Kyler or Tua this coming season?
Tua. Like in terms of the season that they had? Like, I mean, Tua's coming off one of his best career seasons.
Midway through the year, he was like an MVP candidate.
He was in the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, now, what's the contract situation going to be? Because that's always going to have some sort of mental effect on you going into the season. Like, is he going to feel undervalued? Are they going to reach a deal before the start of the season? Because we're hearing it might not be on the same page at the moment. So, yeah, but definitely, like, just from track record at this point right now, Tua.
Yeah. If you want to put MVP money on Kyler Murray, just light the money on fire because it's gone the second you bet it.
Harsh
Stop.
payback.
Come on.
All right, on to wide receivers. And we've seen a ton of wide receivers get paid this offseason in what has been a booming market for the position. Now, on the flip side, we've seen guys like Brandon Ayuk and now Amari Cooper holding out for long-term deals. Now, Cooper is on the final year of his deal and in a recent interview said that he's trying to get paid this year, confirming his holdout is contract related. The Browns are in a tough spot because they have a lot of money, guaranteed money, tied up with Deshaun Watson, right? But it's also important to make Watson happy and have his top receiver, Amari Cooper, to be able to have the same kind of outcome that they had this year. And Cooper set career highs last year, in receiving yards, yards per catch, and he was doing this with multiple different quarterbacks. And when you look at the other top receivers right now in the market, what Amari Cooper is getting compared to everybody else, Amari Cooper's around $20 million a year. That's not even top five. A majority, if you look at the list right here, majority of the top guys are close to 30. Jefferson obviously resetting the market with 35, A.J. Brown 32, Tyreek Hill at 30, Waddle 30.
Yeah, Cooper's better than Waddle and Smith.
Yeah.
Probably better than Cooper Kupp right now, who took a little bit of a step back. Browns need him. Listen, they got weapons on that team. Njoku, Cooper, Judy, Watson. Like, I think
pay your guys, pay your weapons. If you were successful with them, do it.
Yeah.
It's tough because they have so much guaranteed money to Deshaun
another
Watson.
diva receiver. I'm not done. I
you
guess
want to
that's
get
not
paid.
fair. That's
it's
not
true.
fair. I
like
take
when
that
you
back.
look at the market, this is fair. I think he could rank above like a couple of those guys. He's at 20 mil and like they're closer to 30.
Just bump him up to 25. These owners are billionaires. What's $5 million to a guy who helped get you to the playoffs? Didn't he have a 200-yard game late in the season? He was torching someone.
He was great. Again, set a career high in receiving yards and yards per catch.
You got to bring him back.
He was their guy.
And that was after the Chubb injury when he was lost for. So they didn't have a running game. Everybody knows it's all about Cooper, and he still cooked.
Yep.
So I mean, I would pay him. I should take back the diva comment. He's not. That's not diva.
That's
He's
not
underpaid.
Diva. This is reasonable.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk less reasonable.
Also, their top receiver. I don't know if that's. I can't equate diva to wanting to get paid and what you're worth. And if you're the number one guy for your team, again, like you got to get paid, especially like guys in football get injured all the time.
Yeah.
So you need that security as well going into a season.
Yeah, the counter, what people are saying, listening or watching, Alex, he's getting paid $20 million. Well, what do you mean get paid? He's getting $20 million next season.
But when you look at the market, it's not market value. You're getting them undervalued right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the NBA, where Paul George is expected to be the hottest commodity when free agency begins. Now, George has been looking for a 4-year deal, but the Clippers have held him firm to 3 years at a little less than the max. Now, according to Brian Windhorst, there are a number of teams willing to give George the max he desires, including the Warriors, who have been big fish hunting. Now, an additional report indicates that there is a growing feeling that George will opt into his $48.8 million player option and force the Clippers to trade him. Now, this is interesting. Obviously, like, Paul George is going to be the top free agent at the moment. The Clippers just gave Kawhi a 3-year max deal, so I don't know if they want to pay Paul George more than Kawhi. I don't know if that's an ego thing of like who's the leader on this team, if that would kind of adjust the relationship in that sense. But the question is where does